Hey, this is BlindFox and welcome at my ration review. Please support the channel, please subscribe and please go and donate on patreon.com. So today is the lunch portion of our special pack, the MRE International ration pack, day 6. This was special pack I think for the distributor where I bought it. I'm not going to tell you where, doesn't matter. They sell it as a MRE is the NDF Defense Force type rations. It just means that the ration comes in a box with a plasticky with some of the components that might be in a SANDF ration. And as I've previously said on the channel, I've never done an actual ration that I could confirm, or SANDF type ration, and that's selected that I could confirm that this is exactly what's in the rations, but this is as close as we can get to them, and it's, I think, a good representation. If I think back to the old SADF rations I've seen, they were still tent rations. There was a porridge in there, there was meals, there was biscuits, there was, in the beginning, condensed milk, little things of this. Later they became cheeses. They had interesting dog biscuits, though I've not seen it since. It was not the Serek ones and it's not the previous. It's very difficult to explain. And they had they said porridge, there was drinks in there. Can't remember everything else that was in there since I've never seen one actually not that hasn't been nibbled at, or haven't seen a closed one. It was years ago, so even the condensed milk I just heard about. First one I had was one that had cheese in it, and it was these same little cheese sausages type things. So and you will see my light is a bit different today. We are having what we call load shedding. In other words, other countries call it rolling power cuts. It just means that our power distributor can't provide enough power for us because some stuff broke down, and yep. So I'll try to heat this up on gas with hopefully help from my family, since I can't actually light the little gas stove we have. It doesn't have an automatic lighter, and me, gas and matches don't mix. So we've got some beef pasta with veg, and here is veg in this, and I'm not sure how exactly, I can't remember how this looks. I didn't add my tomato sauce and the ketchup here because I don't know if I'm going to use them. We're going to do our orange Super C for once. Here again we've got our cheese sausage, which is cheddar. The only difference to me with processed cheese, Gouda and cheddar, is that cheddar is much more salty. There is of course salt to add here. I didn't add it on the or here as well, because there's not a lot of salt apparently in these foods. I don't eat a lot of salt, but it's a good thing for me that I don't add too much salt here. Reason: we've got some people that suffer a lot of high blood pressure stuff, so it's a good thing that they use as little salt, I think, as they can get away with. So if you want to add more salt, you can. If you don't have to. And if you had the cheese in your meal, you do add salt as well. We're gonna maybe check out our crackers or our Previtas, I don't know. I might just keep it for dinner, but then again, you get 2 packets and dinner is gonna be lots. This is just to add some extra starch here, and you can have this sort of throughout the day as well. You don't have to eat it with your dinner. You can have it with your cheese. You can put some raisins on there. And today I'm not going to use my raisins in any of the meals because there's nothing here that I think calls for using raisins in a meal. So you can just munch on them as you walk. That's why we have the coffee here, so you can either drink it with your meal or have a little hot water in something. Peach apricot isotonic drink, which we've had already tasted. And before I heat this up, this brings me to the problem I don't know if it's a COVID shortage of stuff. But the rations we had, these, or specifically these 6 special packs, I haven't done the other reviews yet. I decided to review all the 6 special packs, just, or do the taping of them, just sort of the filming of them just after each other, so that I can feel how boring it would be. Although I didn't eat a ration per day, I can't eat that much. I did sort of stretch them out over a few days, but just the monotony of what I got, even spread out with other food in between, normal food between them. If I just take the rations into consideration, this is the we got. I think this is either all of the time or most of the time. This is the isotonic drink, the coffee. This is in all the rations. This is in all the rations. This is in, I think, half or so of the rations. So there is not a huge variety, and of course our super seeds in extra stuff. But we will go and heat this up, and I hope I can get the gas going, or get somebody to help me with that little bit. Of course I would have to boil water for the coffee. I hope there's some hot water somewhere for that at least. But I will have to need to boil water for this anyway. First time I've done it on gas. Yay! See you when I've finished. We've got power failure, that's why my lighting is so funny. I don't know if there's another place I can put it. Not really. But we can have funny lighting today. There we go. Let's see. We've got my coffee, which is now a bit cold because I used water that was already sort of hot. Now, being cold, you get more of a taste of the coffee. Not bad, although you will of course drink it hot while you're sitting and waiting for your food to boil. Now we'll get to the food first before we get to all of the cold stuff. There we go. Move along. Just so that my light can sort of get better. A very dark pasta there, or a lot of beef, I think. Let's see if we can see more pasta. Not really. Of course my lighting is a bit weird. Now you will see there is beef, there is pasta, much more beef actually. Well, there is vegetables, sort of carrots, beans, peas and sweet corn. So let's taste. Very much beef. Beef is not as dry as always, but it's small pieces of beef. I squash it a bit so you open the fibers a bit. The pasta is so soft. It literally disappears. This is more a beef dish with pasta than it is pasta a dish with beef. But we are of course gonna add some of this cheese. We might just add, I'm not gonna add all of them because this pasta tastes to me like it contains more salt than a lot of the other dishes we have had. Most of the other dishes we've had in these meals needed salt, and of course they do give you salt, but this particular dish seems like there is not enough or too much salt actually. Now I'm not gonna, you can add your chutney and your tomato sauce here. I think it will go good with the dish, but I'm not going to do so. As I said, again, a bit salty already. There's potatoes in here as well. So, not really, as I said, I don't consider this a pasta dish. It's more a beef dish with some pasta. There's a reason why it's beef pasta or beef veg and pasta. It's not. The pasta doesn't need to be named first. It's not so. There's not such a lot of pasta in there. Now our Provitas, we do know. Provita tastes like bread, sort of a cracker. They call it a crisp bread. It just tastes like whole wheat bread since, well, there's no salt there. And we do know how cheese tastes on this. So we'll taste some of our Provita with this. So something they don't have with these rations is any whatsoever kind of a serviette or a wet nap or anything else. But luckily, since we made a little mess, we do have some wet naps from other rations. Alright, let's move on. Now what do I think of this? You do taste the pasta, it's very soft. The main structure here is meat. There's some big potato pieces, vegetables. So very much a meaty vegetable dish with a few pieces of pasta. This is not a lot of pasta, so it's not the dish contains pasta. It's not really for me a pasta dish. So this still sweet. It still has got that funny smell to me. And I smelled the water and I smelled this. Definitely this has got a funny smell. It's not a sweet smell, it's just a weird smell. And it's still very sweet tasting. So what we've got then is our raisins. I'm not going to add the raisins in any food today because there's nothing I think that needs the extra sweetness. Just look like Thompson raisins, small ones. Doesn't feel sticky at all. Just normal raisins. So, and the last thing, let's just do the coffee, is my favorite Super C, I think. This looks like orange. Yep, orange flavor. My absolute favorite, besides the, mandarin or nachi flavor, which you don't get in the small packets. There we go, the C, orange. Very sugary structure, started out like a pill that's just squashed. Not bad. Orangey, tart, sweet at the same time. It tastes a lot like a crunchy, sugary isotonic drink, but just better. And there even might be some vitamin C in there. So what did I think about everything? Raisins, nice. Super C, nice. Provitas. Cheese, cheddar, bit salty. Nice and versatile cheese though. I would have liked to have Gouda here actually, because of it doesn't taste as salty, and because this pasta here, or the beef vegetable pasta, which is more beef and vegetables than pasta, is a bit more salty than the other dishes I had so far in these rations. Which I'm not a fan of very salty stuff, but since you actually get salt to add here, there is, as I said, I'm not going to add the tomato sauce and the tomato sauce, which is ketchup, and the chutney. I don't feel it fit with any of these dishes. So that was my review. Interesting review. Haven't had some of these rations in a while. I do like some of the 400 gram meals actually more than I like these 300 grams and 250 gram meals. They taste better. There's more thought, I think, in the preparation, and although you can eat this one cold, the meat will be a bit more dry, I think. But not a bad ration, or not a bad taste. So then the coffee was just normal coffee. As I said, mine got a bit cold because, hello, gas stove. Normally I do put my food on and then make my coffee, but the pot I'm using is aluminium, and I do not use, and if I put in a ration bag, I'm not using not gonna drink the hot water from that. And I'm not gonna use a stainless steel pot to cook or to heat water for a ration in, so I had to heat the water for my coffee first. So anyway, so this was my review. So thanks for watching, and it was the lunch portion of our MRE International, which is a ration packing company. They're located somewhere in South Africa. I don't know if they've got international branches. This is the day number 6, which is the final day of this particular ration stuff. Expires in 2023. This was packed in 2022. I've seen some of the packing dates. The reason why it's only a year shelf life is this little thing here. They only get, if you include the cheese with your rations, you sort of shorten the shelf life of the whole ration packet. Because these are not the, how to put it, most sealed or sturdy containers. This is the thing that will last the shortest. But it's not a bad ration, although it's a bit boring. So thanks for watching. Please support the channel. Please subscribe. Please go and donate on patreon.com. And see you at my next ration review.